Hello everyone, I am Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. In our today's video, we are going to understand a very divisive figure globally, yet a unifying force in the polity of Iran, that is the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Why are we discussing him? Let us understand the context first. Now, Israel Katz, who is the Israeli defense minister, recently he made a comment that Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the supreme leader of Islamic Republic of Iran, can no longer be allowed to exist. Now, this is the clearest declaration yet, both by Israel and sometimes by even the US, that taking out or killing of Khamenei would be the one of their ultimate war goals in order to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons. So in our today's discussion, we are going to understand more details about the supreme leader of Iran. Now, in that regard, if someone threatens you with death, automatically a person would be afraid, but not Ayatollah Khamenei. Ayatollah Khamenei made a statement that he has refused to bow down to the external pressure, particularly from Israel and United States, saying that intelligent people, they know Iran and the nation and the history of Iran. So then they'll never speak to this nation in the language of threats. And saying that, he has said that Iranian nation cannot and will not surrender to the threats made by Israeli as well as the United States. So in this regard, we are going to understand him. Now the notes, if you want to download them, these will be available on my Telegram channel called as ATS Live. So you can go search the words ATS Live in the Telegram channel. You will find the channel. Subscribe to it if you still haven't and download the notes. If you have some problem in finding the channel, this is the QR code which you can scan. Now in any political system, particularly for a democratic systems like US or India, you understand the powers of the state is divided between different organs of the state. So in India, to implement the laws, there's this what is called as executive, where it is headed by President of India, and in reality the execution of policies, it is based on the demand of the government, right? So it is essentially the Prime Minister of India who is in charge of implementing the policy, and he heads the government of India. Similarly, to pass the laws, there is what is known as legislature, which is essentially the Parliament of India. Whereas if any dispute arises out of these two bodies, to solve these disputes, we have an independent judiciary, right? So these are basically the powers of Indian state. These are divided into three different organs: executive, legislature and judiciary. And this system of governance is known as separation of power, right? Now, why is this separated? Because the powers of any democratic system can't be concentrated in hand of one organ of the state, right? Now, to deal with this power, there's also systems of checks and balances, right? Now, the executive ultimately is responsible to the legislature of the country, whereas if any legislature or any law is passed by the parliament, if it does not follow the principles of Constitution of India, it will be invalidated by the judiciary of India. And all these three organs of the state, they derive their power from the supreme law of the land, that is the Constitution of India. Understood? So this is what is the setup of a democratic country, and this is same in, say, United States and same in India. India follows a parliamentary system of governance. United system follows the presidential system of the government. But this structure of government is basically very much the same in these two countries. Now, Iran is different. Iran is a theocratic state which is based on the tenets of Shia Islam, right? So in Iran, Constitution provides for another office known as Supreme Leader. And it is this Supreme Leader that controls all these three organs of the state. So this is this supreme leader that is currently having the incumbent known as Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He is the supreme leader of Iran, and as we'll understand in our today's discussion, supreme leader has power over the president of Iran, who is the executive. Similarly, he has powers to invalidate the laws passed by Iranian parliament, and he also appoints members of the judiciary. That is why the supreme control of the country is vested not in president, not in legislature, not in judiciary, but in Iran this power is vested with the supreme leader, who is a cleric, right? So in that regard, this position of supreme leader in Iran, it is based on the doctrine known as Velayat-e-Faqih, right? Which essentially means guardianship of a jurist. And this gives a cleric the ultimate sovereignty or ultimate power over an Islamic state of Iran. And this ideology in Iran was developed by the predecessor of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Please remember, Khomeini was the predecessor of Khamenei. Now the supreme leader of Iran is the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And this was even enshrined in the constitution of Iran after the Islamic Revolution that happened in 1979. And as I told you, Iran follows a theocratic system of governance based on the tenets of Shia Islam. That is why the supreme leader of Iran, he is most powerful figure in the country, making it above the president, above the parliament, and even above the judiciary, right? Now, in reality, the supreme leader of Iran has many powers. He can command the armed forces of the country. He can appoint the members of the judiciary, including the heads of judiciary. He can appoint members of the state-owned media, can appoint key members of the security agencies, and he also holds the power to dismiss elected officials, invalidate deadly legislation, and even declare wars and peace. And the most notable power that the supreme leader has is his control over foreign and military policy of the government. He oversees a very important paramilitary organization known as Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, that is IRGC, and even the Quds Force, which is orchestrating the Iran's regional operation in region. That is why in the polity of Iran, as against a democratic country like India or US, the supreme power is not vested with constitution, not vested with either executive, legislature or judiciary. It is vested with the supreme leader of Iran, that is currently the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Now, in this regard, it is important for us to understand who actually is this person, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Now, he was born in 1939 in the northern part of Iran, in the city of Mashhad, and he is second among 8 children, and he belonged to a modest family, and his father was also a religious cleric. Now, Khamenei, like his father, also got educated. He pursued clerical studies from Quds, and he eventually joined the movement of Islamic Revolution that was back then headed by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who pursued this movement against then ruler of Iran, that was the Shah of Iran, Pahlavi. Okay, so this was how Ayatollah Ali Khamenei joined the Islamic Revolution. Now, he was imprisoned multiple times at the tenure of Shah's regime, and he emerged as a key figure in the 1979 Islamic Revolution that overthrew the monarchy and eventually established what is known as the theocratic state of Iran. He served as a president under then supreme leader Ruhollah Khomeini from 81 to 89, steering Iran through its previous war with Iraq before succeeding Khomeini after his death, and he eventually became the second supreme leader of Iran. Understood? So this is how Ayatollah Ali Khamenei became the supreme leader of Iran. This was the first supreme leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. This is the current supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Understood? Now let us understand what are the beliefs of Ayatollah Khamenei. Now, Khamenei's influence includes many. It includes an Islamist thinker like Egyptian theorist Sayyid Qutb, who wrote Islam without a government and a Muslim nation without an Islam is meaningless. And also the inspiration for Khamenei was the previous Ayatollah Khomeini, who was the fountainhead of the Islamic Revolution. Now, Khamenei itself, or he himself, he believes or he criticizes liberal democracy and capitalism, calling themselves as flawed, because he views West, who pursues the ideas of liberal democracy and capitalism, as truly materialistic and Islamophobic. On the other hand, what Khamenei preaches, that he preaches justice, prayer, independence, and approaching the exalted God, and therefore his ideology is not just to make Iran strong, but it is to make Iran a spiritually superior country as against the Western civilization. So based on this ruling, he has made changes to the political structure of Iran. So even if you look at currently, Khamenei's intention is to preserve the revolutionary identity of the state of Iran, and while doing so, he remains devoted to the Islamic principles, which eventually is opposed to the principles promoted by West, like liberal democracy as well as materialism. Okay, now Iran in this process, under the rule of Khomeini and then Khamenei, has become a regional power, and this regional power of Iran has gotten through asymmetric means. How? Iran has funded, it has trained, and it has armed a network of proxies. These network of proxies are intended to confront the enemies of Iran in the region, that is Israel and eventually the United States. Similarly, this is without even to take a direct war in action. So previously we have held that other organs or the non-state actors in the region which are very active in Middle East, like Hezbollah, like Hamas, like Houthis, they are supported directly and indirectly through the Iranian Islamic regime. Hezbollah belongs to Lebanon, Hamas belongs to Gaza, as well as Houthis, they are the revolutionaries or the reactionaries in the country of Yemen. And all of these, they conduct attacks frequently on the interest of Israel and United States in the region. And we have seen Houthis, they even went to war with Saudi Arabia. So this is how Iran has gained the regional power status asymmetrically, not engaging directly with these countries like US and Israel, rather engaging through their proxies known as 3H, Hezbollah, Hamas and Houthis. Understood? So this is basically how Iran is able to preserve its revolutionary character and funding non-state actors to do their bidding themselves. Okay. Now, another factor that has shaped Iran's economy during the tenure of Khamenei is what is known as resistance doctrine. And you understand, for a long time now, Iran has been under Western sanctions. It can't participate in global trade. It can't use dollars to settle its trade. That is why Iran is facing Western sanctions. And to promote economic growth amidst this Western sanctions, Khamenei's rule has come up with what is known as resistance doctrine. And this strategy is aimed at making Iran a good economic country at the midst of international sanctions. Now, in theory, this wants Iran to reduce its reliance on oil. Oil is the major exporting commodity of Iran, including expansion of trade with other powers of the world, that is China and Russia, and cutting on state subsidies. Now, efficacy of these moves can be debatable. As we have seen, Iran is not totally independent of oil. It has expanded its trade, but it is unable to cut these subsidies. And because of cut of these subsidies, historically we have seen many protests that have happened in Iran, but these protests even then was not able to overthrow the existing regime in Iran. Why? Because the state political system is consolidated, or it's made to preserve the rule of Islamic State and preserve the rule of the incumbent supreme leader. Now the supreme leader himself, he has tagged every avenue of the government, made notable appointments in the various institutions of government with their loyalists, and therefore it makes other factions in the country like moderates or reformists to gain influence. And that is why they have been able to preserve the Islamist character or the reactionary character of the Islamic government in Iran, right? Now, even at times we have seen Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, he has proven ruthless in suppressing dissent. There was this very popular protest recently which happened after the arrest of Mahsa Amini. Similarly, at 2009, there was this green movement in Iran which actually went against then election of president of Iran, because it was expected that that election happened through illegal means. Okay, so these popular protests which actually gained a lot of influence, but still it was not able to overthrow the regime. Why? Because regime is there with many institutions of government. They are manned by people who are loyalist to the regime, particularly loyalist to the supreme leader of Iran. Understood? So that is how they have changed the foreign policy, by supporting non-state actors in the region where Iran is not engaged directly into the war before right now. They have promoted these non-state actors who have then attacked the enemies of Iran. Similarly, economy of Iran is tilted towards the regime that favors the self-reliance, but the efficacy of those regimes we have understood is not so much. Similarly, even in domestic criteria, the fundamental rights of protest, which is essential in every democracy, has not been enjoyed by people of Iran. Why? Because they have been suppressed ruthlessly by the Islamist regime of Iran. Now, what you need to understand, that what has Khamenei done? Now, in terms of developing nuclear science or developing nuclear technology, Khamenei sees nuclear science as a marker of national pride and progress. And for Khamenei, or for Iran regime right now, Iran's right to enrich uranium, it is not about just requiring nuclear science for energy. Rather, it is a matter of sovereignty. That is why we have seen, even in its negotiations with US, Iran has always favored that it should have the right to enrich nuclear fuel itself, not depend on another country. However, what is claimed that Iran still, according to its own regime, it is not pursuing a nuclear weapon, and therefore he even protested when US withdrew from the JCPOA agreement, which Iran had signed previously with the members of P5 in addition to Germany, right? So in theory, Iran portrays itself that it wants to develop nuclear science, it wants to enrich uranium, but in theory, Iran is saying that we will enrich uranium not to make nuclear weapons, but rather to make or generate nuclear power, right? So this is what Khamenei has done. Now, what will come next? Now you understand, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei right now, he's 85 years old and he's also had cancer previously. But despite this speculation, he still has not publicly named a successor. Now, officially, if he relinquishes the office or he dies in office, the job of Assembly of Experts is to choose the next supreme leader of Iran, which is a body of 88 clerics, and these are again vetted by regime. But this process, you understand, is secretive and tightly controlled, and right now Ali Khamenei has not named a successor. So people are saying that among many contenders, his own son, that is Mostaba, he will be the front runner of being the next supreme leader of Iran. But what you need to understand that earlier, Khamenei was dismissive of a succession based on nepotism. He has said that if a person belonging to him or belonging to his bloodline successes into office, it would be akin to man passing a copper wash basin to his hair. But now we'll see, amidst Western pressure, Khamenei is now very acceptable to having his own son as the next supreme leader. But there exist factional rivalries in Iran, like many political regime. And what if he dies and there is a public unrest? It could disrupt the entire regime, especially if Khamenei is removed from office by the Western powers. So while the Islamic regime in Iran has been remarkably resilient in terms of many Western sanctions, in terms of suppressing popular protests, but still this is the greatest ever challenge that the regime in Iran currently is facing. That is the attack primarily from Israel, and it is expected that US in future might also join this war. Okay, so this was all that you needed to know about the current regime, the current supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, how he came into power, how he exercises his power generally. He's the supreme leader, so he has control over executive, over legislature, over judiciary. He can appoint members of judiciary, he can overturn laws passed by parliament. He has a supreme control over country's military as well as foreign policy, right? In addition to that, he even controls Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps as well as the Quds Force, which are responsible for Iran's regional operation. Now, before this conflict, Iran was not directly engaged with either US or Israel. Rather, it promoted several non-state actors in the region like Hamas, like Hezbollah, like Houthi to do their bidding. Similarly, it has curbed down popular protests in the region by a very strict political regime. But now this is the biggest challenge, and we'll witness what will happen. And if any significant development happen, I will do another video on this. What do you feel about this regime? Do let me know in the comments. Before the practice question, I have something I wanted to tell you. Now, we are in a process right now to take admissions in the resolution batches. Now, what is the history between India's relationship with Iran? Why does not Iran get along quite well with Western countries like US or UK? Or why does not it get along with regional rivals like Saudi or Israel? All of that we cover in great detail in our IR lectures, which happens in Foundation P2I batches, right? Now, currently, to take admissions in the resolution batch, the fees is 25,000, but this fees is only available, or this offer is only available till 23rd of June, and you can get this fees only after applying the code ATS Live, which is the exact code flashing on the bottom half of your screen. How to get admission? How to apply the discount code? Let me tell you. You need to go to our website. You'll be needing to create an account here by simply logging in with your mobile number. Once you go to this option, select all languages and select English. Why am I saying English? Because I understand many of the people who might be watching this video will not be comfortable with Hindi or with bilingual batches. So for you, we are offering English only batches. To take admissions in either of these batches, what you need to do, click on this morning batch 2026 or the long term batch. Well, it basically depends on when you want to appear for UPSC exam. Suppose if you want to appear for exams next year in 2026, this is the batch for you. And if you want to appear later on in 2027 or 28, this is the option for you. This is available at 25,000. This is available at 30,000, and you will get this only after you apply the code. Suppose if you want to take admissions for the next year's batch 2026, click on buy now. Right now it says 31,999 is the course fees, but you can get it for significantly less. How to apply the code? Let me tell you. Click on buy now. Once you click on buy now, on the right there's an option to add promo code. Click here and enter the code ATS Live, which is the exact code written on the bottom half of your screen. Now you can use this code on any course, right? You will get the discount. Click apply. As soon as you click apply, see the discount of 7,000 rupees is applied, and now this resolution batch 2026 is available at 25,000, basically 24,999. Okay, you'll get this rate only after you apply the code ATS Live. Please remember it. Now, what are the benefits? You obviously get live classes, lecture notes, people or the teachers after teaching, you will upload the PDF, and you'll also get mains residential program. which if you clear prelims, suppose if you clear prelims, you'll be brought to Delhi and every of your expenses, food, studies, lodging, etc. will be taken care of by StudyIQ. Similarly, you are eligible even for prelims residential program. Even before prelims, you'll be brought to Delhi if you are in the top 10% of the batches. Similarly, a selection box of 20 books are provided to you, which will help you in your preparation. Margdarshan guidance from faculties is also provided, and a scholarship, that is if you clear prelims, your entire course fees, that is the 25,000 rupees you're paying right now, will be refunded back to you. Yes, your entire course fees will be refunded. And if you clear or top your monthly test, you will be getting a 11,000 rupees financial reward. All of these benefits are available in our batches. If you have any queries, please feel free to contact us on 9240231070. This is the number. And do not forget to tell them to apply the code ATS Live, because it helps you save 7,000 rupees of your parents' or your hard-earned money. And I understand the importance of money. That is why I'm telling you this offer. Okay. Now, the practice question of the day, this is a PYQ that appeared in 2016. Now, Iran, Israel, UAE, Saudi, etc. These are located in Gulf countries, and Gulf countries, they have a intergovernmental body known as Gulf Cooperation Council. So which of the following are not a member of GCC? Do let me know in the comment section. This question appeared in the prelims 2016, and the ones who answered it correctly, I'll give your comments a thumbs up so that you'll know you've answered it correctly. And the notes, once again, these will be available on my Telegram channel, ATS Live. So you can go to the channel, subscribe it if you still haven't, and download the notes. So this is all from my side. We'll see each other again. Please have a very good day.